gonna flop, my mind's about to pop. But enough of that noise, time for the B-roll, boys.
Hello, welcome back to B-roll, boys. We're here to talk about 2003's Daredevil, starring Ben Affleck. I am your host for this one. I am Justice. Here I have with me Vengeance.
Hey, I'm Vengeance.
And also Turbulence.
I'm not acknowledging that.
Come on, man. See, you laughed. It was dumb.
Yeah.
My name's Harlan. That's Wes and Justin. We're here to talk about Daredevil, which I have actually.
No.
Yes, that's Wes. I've actually never seen this. This is one of the few, maybe not few. I'll say the handful of Marvel comic book movies that I haven't seen.
Are you happy you did?
Handful is a synonym for a few. You've only not seen a few.
I mean, well, yeah, I guess
There's not much difference between a handful and a few. It's the same shit.
Well, a handful sounds like a little bit more than a few, but
It's okay.
yeah,
Justin knows about handfuls.
few sounds like 2 or 3.
At least mine is a handful.
Sounds more like 5. So anyway, yeah, we're here to talk about Daredevil.
Damn it.
Wes has a small dick.
No!
Oh, god damn it.
Start off strong.
We're here to talk about Daredevil, starring Ben Affleck.
You say so.
And,
Do we dare?
to answer your question, I am not necessarily glad that I've watched it, but I am happy to cross it off the list. If you know.
So
what I'm
you
saying.
never have to watch it again.
Yeah, because I've always been morbidly curious about this because I've always heard it's bad. Like anytime I tell people, "Dude, watch Daredevil," and they're like, "I'm like, dude, watch Daredevil. It's so good," and they're like, "The one with Ben Affleck," and I'm like, "No, the good one."
What fucking dorks are still thinking of the movie whenever you bring up Daredevil? It's from like forever ago.
I know a guy who did that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I was
pretty
really
behind.
hoping that this just kind of fell into legend.
No, unfortunately, we're not quite there yet. I guess this movie is just that infamous, and I'd say it deserves it because this was a lot of fun to watch. This is really bad.
I actually took a lot of notes for this one.
Me too. I was surprised. I filled up my whole page.
Really? I don't take
bother
that many.
taking notes anymore, but with this, there were so many like little things that I knew I was gonna forget that weren't just to do with the plot.
Yeah, because
Like-
the plot, there's not too much to say. You know.
Like that really great thing from early 2000s movies where their opening credits scene was like 15 minutes. I'm glad that society has moved on from that since then.
Yeah, I do not.
Fuck
miss
opening
that
credits.
shit.
All my homies hate opening credits.
That's right.
Agreed. Yeah, I
Movie
don't
should
miss
just
that
fucking
shit.
start.
Yeah,
Also, this might have the worst soundtrack in any movie.
It's very 2003. Like
There's so much butt rock in this.
It stamps itself into 2003 like Unfriended did for 2014.
this
Like-
is pretty much just a butt rock music video from start
This
to
is
finish.
it's Daredevil with now that's what I call Music 9 over it.
Yeah, from like your
there are
local
so
rock
many
station.
featured songs on this. It's insane. And yeah,
This
I
is
guess,
like the radio in my middle school years.
Basically, yeah.
if you guys don't know the premise of Daredevil, Daredevil is about a devout Catholic named Matt Murdock who is blinded.
That's what your opening is for Daredevil?
Huh?
He's a superhero. He fucks people up. Not his faith in Christ.
Well, I mean,
Well, Catholic's a big part of his character because whenever
his
he
Catholic
murders,
faith is like a huge part of his character.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of
I
relevant.
don't know.
in this movie.
I didn't read the manga.
Yeah, but you watched season 1 of the show. You should know this.
Yeah, like 5 years ago. I forgot about it.
Everybody tweet at Justin to watch season 3 of Daredevil because it's really good.
Yeah, feel free to tweet at me. I'm gonna ignore it.
wow, you heard it here, folks.
Okay, so like I was saying, if you guys don't know Daredevil, yeah, he's Catholic, he's blind, but he can hear really good.
Really good.
Yeah, and do other things really good. And in this movie, it's weird. They somehow like nerfed him and also made him OP at the same time. Like Justin said at one point, it's like they're playing with like low gravity cheats because he's just making like between 30 and 500 foot leaps at any given point in this movie. It's insane.
Wait, blind people can't inherently do that?
No.
The thing that this just felt so derivative is such an easy word to like throw at a movie because most movies are derivative in some way, but this was such a direct response and ripoff to Batman Begins and Spider-Man. The action is
Matrix
all
Reloaded.
Actually, yes, it has a lot of Matrix Reloaded vibes, especially in the fight scenes, and the CGI, which looks atrocious. Like, look, man, this is Return of the King here. You can't give me that excuse of 2003 shit.
Exactly.
But, I mean, as far as tone, it's trying so hard to be Batman, but like the Chris Nolan, like psycho thug Batman, because Daredevil actually kills people in this.
Yeah, his redemption arc is that he stops killing people.
What's with that?
Because his tagline is, "I'm not the bad guy." I'm like, all right.
I don't know if that's his tagline. It's like his like dilemma.
Well, that's the thing that he says twice in the movie. It's a tagline.
Yeah, whenever he goes back to church, like, well, I killed again.
But and the priest is like, Matt,
It's like,
you little
right?
scamp.
I know
you
we're
can't commit
Catholic.
capital murder again.
It's like, I know we're Catholic and I can forgive you like unlimited times, but you gotta stop this, man.
He's playing life and
just
unlimited
not cool.
continues.
Daredevil's playing the long con.
He had to make sure to clear his moral cache every day.
Dude, he's probably have said like tens of thousands of Hail Marys just for all of his various murders.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions.
And this movie also really falls into the pit of like spending way too long on Daredevil's origin story. Thankfully superhero movies since then have really like learned to like, get that shit going a lot faster, or just, like reference it, after it's said and done.
Yeah.
This movie spends a long time on his backstory, which, like he's bullied as a kid before he's blind, and then later the kids are bullying him when he's blind, and they're just like the weakest ass bullies ever. They're just like, "You're a punk," and then the other bullies are like, "Yeah, he's a punk," and they just kind of like lazily shove him.
ass. What are you gonna do? Look at me. It's like, all right, got me.
And they like tease him because they're like, his dad's a boxer, and they're like teasing him because they're like, "Your dad throws fights," and I'm like, how do they know that? Like, these kids are like 10.
Yeah, they've never snuck into the underground boxing ring.
Yeah,
What does
how do they have
throwing
that
fights
knowledge?
mean when you're 10?
No, his dad throws fights.
I know, but
That means even
they're
less.
like throwing around these terms. I'm like,
It's like, do
you
you
know
kids
what
work
10-year-olds
for
don't
the
know what
fucking
throwing
mob?
fights is.
Yeah. I just want to know where they got their intel.
Your dad tries to reenact Pulp Fiction.
Neat. Yeah, I completely forgot about that little underdeveloped nothing of the movie.
Yeah, and like his dad. All right, so it's revealed later that like, so there's the Kingpin, who is like the ultimate bad guy. He's the Kingpin of crime. He's like the ultimate mob boss. And it's revealed later when Daredevil as an adult confronts him that he orchestrated his dad's death like 20 years ago, completely coincidentally, like not knowing that he would become Daredevil, of course. But like,
Yeah, he
they
was
also
like
say
Prince
at
Pen back
the middle
then.
point of the movie, they say that the Kingpin has like just started to take over Hell's Kitchen. And like, how did he orchestrate that 20 years ago if he's just now like starting to organize crime?
Well, isn't the whole thing is that he's coming out like as a face for the organized crime? Like he's always been like an underworld boss, but they're wanting to put like a face on it in the media. So it's
I
like,
mean-
we'll give him a face or something like that. No.
I mean, if you wanted to tell me that's what the deal is, okay, I guess, but there doesn't seem to be a reason that he's all of a sudden deciding to make himself known rather than working in the shadows. Like, if that is the case, I don't know why he 20 years later decided to start making himself public.
They kind of vaguely mentioned it for like a half second and then never referenced it again.
Yeah. Like
So
a lot
it-
of shit in this movie.
This feels like, I know it's supposed to be fiction. I know it's supposed to be stylized and not realistic, but like, it doesn't follow even the slightest logic, especially in like character interactions. Like
Yeah, there's no
when Jennifer
consistency.
Garner walks in and Ben Affleck is like macking on her, he fucking follows her. He follows her and is like, "Can I get your number, sweetie? Could you fart in my mouth?" And she's like, "No, get away from me, incel." And then they have like a Jackie Chan
She
fight
starts like beating up this guy that she thinks
Yeah.
is blind.
in
Like,
public.
for some reason.
Like rightfully
In
so.
front of a playground, too. Like, in front of all these kids. They
He's
just start
following her and she's like, I don't like being followed. And like, He's just
Yeah, and
being
he even,
a
like, forcefully grabs her hand when she tries to walk away. Like,
Yeah,
really
and then
creepy.
he's like, so show me your sock drawer. She's like, no, and does a backflip. It's weird.
yeah, and then they're doing like a fucking Jet Li fight, and they're just flying
They, like,
all over the
They like
place.
fight each other on like seesaws, like teeter-totters. You know, they like jump up and down. Like
It was almost like Pirates of the Caribbean in the most like cynical, shitty way.
oh man,
I think that might be the most out of place thing in the entire movie. You guys
I
ever
think so,
follow
yeah.
a chick home and then just have a kung fu fight with her in an alleyway?
in front of all these fifth graders.
I feel like that part didn't age very well.
No,
Because that would be
didn't age
crucified.
then.
If that came out in theaters now, that would be crucified.
And like,
when he fights the bullies earlier in the movie, it's also like it's very similar in that way. Like, you know, they're picking on this blind kid now and just kind of like, you know, just kind of teasing him and shit, and and they're like, see ya, chump, and they turn around and start to walk away because they think he won't do anything, and then he whips out his billy club and he starts just like whacking them with it, like really
Like a
lightly.
cane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's
he's
just like really lightly whacking them. He's like, and he's like smacking them on the face. It's so hilarious.
I really wanted a nothing personnel kid line at that point.
no, dude, he was just hitting all of his pressure points like Fist of the North Star, and like 30 seconds later, his head was gonna blow off.
And yeah, during that origin story, they also explain, like, you know, like Ben Affleck is narrating like the process, and he's like, I lost my sight, but I gained something else in return. And he says that like
The ability to jump like 200 feet across
well,
buildings.
yeah, he says I gained a heightened sense of touch, and with it came strength. Like, okay, what is the logic behind that? How does being able to feel through your fingers make you stronger? Anybody?
I got nothing. I'm trying.
Anybody? No?
Wouldn't it just if it heightened his senses? Wouldn't it mean that he felt pain more intensely, and that would make him a worse superhero?
Actually, yeah.
Because he'd like stub his toe and have 3 strokes or whatever.
Yeah, you're right. At least in Spider-Man, they zoomed in and showed his gross, weird spider barbed hair on his fingers. On him, they didn't show anything.
His
Hey, man,
spider
that's a classic.
pubes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
and
worked
so-
through his shoes.
Yeah, so his dad, like, yeah, he's throwing fights, but then he wants to make his son proud, so he decides to not throw the fight when he's supposed to, and then the Kingpin kills him for it. And
Spoilers.
yeah, sorry.
We don't
But-
find that out until like an hour and a half later.
Yeah, fucking an hour and a half later. It's been so long in the origin story. But before that, he like finds out that his dad throws the fights, and he's like mad at his dad, and he runs away, and then he gets blinded, and then he just immediately forgives his dad, as kids are, you know, one to do.
Yeah, he
For some
walks into
reason.
the hospital, then he just goes up and hugs him.
And that's when we get the first like visual representation of how Daredevil sees things. And you know, it's like, you know, the idea is he has a radar sense, like he hears sound waves bouncing around, and it gives him an idea of like everything around him, not just what's like immediately in front of him. It's supposed to give him an idea of everything around him, like within a certain radius.
It's like a ghost Matrix looking
I
world.
don't see how that necessarily makes him a better fighter, though, because that just means he's seeing with like 50% efficiency. It's not like he's seeing things before they happen, like Spider-Man,
but-
or with like
okay,
extreme
How do
instincts.
you
He's
mean
just,
50% proficiency?
as in, like, what he's seeing is not as deep. I mean, maybe he can see farther because he's got this like radar effect, sure, or it's like sonar. But I don't see how, like, when he's fighting a person, that makes him better at it, because he can
But-
only see like little bits at a time, and the time where he has the most sight is when when it's raining, because the raindrops are bouncing off them. It's like, oh, then you can just see like a person sees.
Well,
normally.
his other senses were already heightened, but then he can still see a little bit, so that's good, right?
Well, yeah, no, he doesn't. The idea is that he can see in 360 degrees. You know, he can see all around him at once.
Yeah, but I don't see how that makes him better fighting one-on-one.
It doesn't. It doesn't. The movie doesn't. It's not canon in this movie.
And why is he Neo?
Daredevil is
Yeah.
a much
He-
better
he-
AoE class than single
Oh,
target.
That's fair. He's like the
Yeah.
scout.
No, yeah. In the comics, Daredevil is trained to be a fighter. It's not like his senses don't make him a better fighter. He just relies on them, if that makes sense. But anyhow,
Studied the blade.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, not to
Studied
get
the
into the
Billy
comic book
Club.
shit. Yeah, like, so the first time we see, like, a visual representation of how he sees, like, you know, he hasn't learned to, like, I guess, like, focus his senses, I guess. And, like, he sees trucks and cars in his hospital room. What?
It's discombobulating him.
I think that
That doesn't make any sense.
I think the idea is that, like, he's not able to pinpoint where the sound is coming from, so it kind of looks like everything is just, you know, overloading him, like a sensory overload kind of thing, instead of him essentially having, like, Last of Us echolocation vision, like he does through the rest of the film.
Like, that idea of the overload totally works. I just don't know why they needed to interpret that as he thinks the cars are in front of him when he's in a hospital room.
Because if it has a sonar vision thing and he can see him, if he doesn't know exactly where the sound's coming from, to him it's like the car is like right there. So I guess that's what it was trying to show us.
I'm okay with that. I mean, the rest of the movie is a pile of ass, but that part I was like, oh, okay, I smell what you're stepping in.
That part actually kind of makes sense.
But then we get
the best part of the movie.
No,
It's weird that's like that's a good thing. It's like, oh shit, this part made sense.
Yeah, the rest didn't. The rest was stupid. But
dude, I don't know what I'm gonna say for my good thing in like 30 minutes. Yeah, I know you do because you said it during the movie, and I was panicking the whole time. Like, fuck, I got nothing.
Like he stole it. God
come on,
damn.
you don't like My Immortal by Evanescence? We get two Evanescence songs off their first album in this.
Back
I
to
love the
fucking back.
entire Bring Me to Life montage. That is like a low point of the decade for movies.
Really something.
I'm pretty sure they also had a Daredevil music video with that song in it.
Yeah, I think they did.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the first time we see Daredevil in action, he's like, so he's a lawyer by day because justice is blind, you know, and
He starts every case with that, and the audience in the fucking courtroom is just like, oh my god.
they're all like face palming.
The crowd
Jesus,
goes
they're sure
mild.
He's a lawyer, and he's like he's doing this. He's working this case. And this dude is the defendant has been accused of raping this girl, and he's like he's called to the stand, and he like straight up he admits to raping her, but he's just like, but you know what?
He's like, yeah,
She enjoyed every minute of it. And then so like as if that weren't bad enough for him to somehow not be convicted off of that admission of guilt, immediately after that, Daredevil, or Matt in his civilian persona as a lawyer, he threatens him in front of the whole courtroom. He's like, for your sake, I hope justice is served today. I don't see how that could be interpreted as anything other than a threat. I mean, I guess people don't take it seriously because he's a blind guy. But,
Yeah, exactly.
But so then he follows that guy to a bar, and just the most fucking awesome, terrible beatdown happens. I mean, like, at one point, he's standing at the top of the stairs, and he beats up a guy, and then surfs on the guy's back down the stair rails.
That was fantastic.
that was fucking hype.
It was amazing.
That was the most fired like shot in the movie.
He has a billy club that he uses as like a grappling hook, and at one point, he throws it, and it like grabs onto the fan, just a regular ceiling fan, and when the fan keeps spinning, it lifts him up into the air, and he stands on top of the fan, just this normal ass ceiling fan supporting his whole weight.
Maybe it was made by big ass fans. They make really good fans.
Ah, yes, big ass fans, of course.
That is a real company.
Is it?
Yeah, they make warehouse fans. Almost every warehouse fan you see is made by big ass fans.
It's not a very expansive.
There's
business
my
plan.
trivia for the week. Boom.
Right. So. And yeah, speaking of that fight, for a movie that is about a guy who's blind and relies on his hearing to do everything he does, you'd think that they'd like put some more thought and care into the sound design, but it's really bad.
This is like the 7th thing in a row that has the Street Fighter like sound test.
Yeah.
A sound effect. So every single punch landed is like whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah. Every time he whacks someone with his cane, it's.
And like I almost wonder if that's intentional, but it's not going for like this corny
yeah.
vibe like Spider-Man was. This is supposed to be like Batman Dark.
It needs to choose between new Batman and 60s Batman. Yeah. It's like it was one step away from having like pow and bang and shit and thought and chat bubbles that pop up.
Yeah,
That
but then he
would've been dope.
fucking murders a guy and you're like, oh, that's out the window.
Like, oh shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
he murders like 3 people at least in this movie.
I was so confused when he murdered that guy. I was like, again, like never seen this movie before. But yeah, he like, he basically like knocks the guy onto the tracks when the subway train is coming, and he's like, "That light coming? It's not heaven. It's the C train," and it's supposed to be like this badass moment.
Yeah, he lets a guy get fucking murdered by a train. It's horrible.
Not only does he let the guy get run over by a train, but later when the police show up and they're like investigating the scene of the crime, I didn't catch how this happened, but they like light some like gasoline on fire. I don't know how they knew it was there, and it forms the DD that is, you know, Daredevil's logo.
God,
So
that
he,
is the
like,
stupidest shit.
Like
He
they're
left a calling card, and like, how did they know that was there? It was just like,
Yeah, it's really weird too because the police is like trying to cover up that he exists, and like one of their detectives he's like he knows Daredevil exists and he's trying to expose him, and that's what started that whole thing. Like, he's like, no, Daredevil was here. Then he throws a cigar down or whatever, and it lights up. But Daredevil doesn't want people to know he's Daredevil or that he exists either. So why is he leaving fucking a double D and gasoline and shit?
and where did he get that gasoline? Like, did he leave, go get some gasoline, and then come back to the scene of the murder and do that?
Doesn't make any
Or-
fucking sense.
Or was it a mark from one of the hitman guys or one of the mob guys that's like, ooh, so they left that there. So they're like, oh, this was Daredevil. He is real.
They tried to frame
Meanwhile-
Daredevil, not knowing that he actually did it.
Meanwhile, Daredevil is trying his hardest to make people think he's not blind and not Matt Murdock because he was like the C train.
Oh yeah, and yeah, like, what is he trying to have a secret identity in this movie? Because he does so much shit that a blind man should not be doing. Like,
Yeah, that was weird.
like he's always like turning around and like following people that, you know, a blind man shouldn't know which direction they went.
Yeah, and
when-
like
when-
smelling specific people and
when
hearing
Electra
things.
shows up at the coffee shop. Okay, I'm so confused because Daredevil's best friend is another lawyer named Foggy Nelson, and Foggy, you know, knows that, like, he seems to know that Matt has, you know, heightened senses, but he hasn't put it together that he's Daredevil, because like he talks about Daredevil as if he's just a myth and like he's like, you know, just like writing him off, and yet he's always like throwing shit at Matt. And like Matt catches it, and like for him to see, like, so clearly he knows that like he's not just a regular blind guy.
Or
and,
Matt
like, he
can
even,
see
like,
some
dude.
girl walking on the outside of a cafe that they're in.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah,
wait a second, door.
yeah,
he
he's
can
like,
pick up
someone's
on
Pussy
a-
coming.
alert.
He
Yeah,
can pick
and
up
yet
on
he
a
doesn't
whiff
know
of
that
a
he's
7
Daredevil.
out of 10 chick from a mile away.
Yeah, yeah, and then that's when he like gets up when Electra, who walks into the coffee shop, you know, she leaves. And then yeah, he like walks out, follows her, and that's when they have their fight in front of the playground. And again, she's not supposed to realize that he's not blind, so she's just beating up a disabled person.
Yeah, her only thing is like, are you sure you're not blind? And then he takes his glasses off, and then he's like, oh, okay, you're blind.
Yeah, and even after all the shit that he does, like in broad daylight as a civilian, she still doesn't realize later that he's Daredevil until she takes off his mask.
Yeah, even though like his jawline is just out there, and the mask
Super visible.
is basically molded to his fucking face.
You can
Yeah.
see that and be like, oh, hey,
Oh yeah, can
exactly
we talk about
Ben
the costume?
Affleck.
Can we talk about the costume? I hate the way it looks. I mean,
That's
I'm sure
bad.
that's not a hot take, but
He's got a zip up
Daredevil is like
leather.
the corniest costume.
He has a zip up leather Trinity jacket.
yeah, like it's like skin tight leather. And I also noticed at one point he's like Daredevil's running down the street, but it looks like he can't move his arms very much because the leather suit is so tight. Like he's like clearly not able to
Actually-
lift them that high.
Maybe that's who made his costume, like some random BDSM club, because they're not going to ask questions. He's like, I need a full red or a like maroon leather suit, and they're
Yeah,
like, here
with
you go.
DD embossed on it. I feel like that suit probably squeaks a lot when he fights.
Oh yeah, if it's made out of leather, yeah, man. Let's see what's next.
Oh,
yeah,
when he gets back
I-
to his place and the girl that he was seeing, is leaving a voicemail message, like breaking up
Yeah,
with
she
him.
breaks up
That
with
is
him
the
with voicemail.
fucking worst, like, Elder Scrolls level dialogue ever.
It's so lazy too. It's such a lazy way to have him dump this person who we never even see on screen.
It's like while he's patching up his wounds and shit. Oh, and then he's taking painkillers. Who just chews their Percocets? Like, he's supposed to be taking these painkillers, and he's not swallowing them. He's not taking them with water. He's chewing on them
He
like a
just
fucking
tosses
animal.
them in his mouth and just chews them up.
Oh, and then whenever he sleeps, he's in this like water tank. I thought it was a bathtub, but it looks like a sensory deprivation
Yeah.
chamber or something.
What's with that?
Like, you think the crypt thing would be enough? Does he have to sleep in water? Like, what if he has night terrors and he rolls over and fucking drowns himself?
Yeah, like he can only sleep facing up because like the water is like almost like covering his eyes. It's like very high.
If the goal is to cover his ears so he hears less shit, the water is still way too high because it's like almost covering his whole face.
Such a stretch.
Yeah,
Like
it's very convoluted.
the crypt thing I get, but the water shit just doesn't make any sense. Plus, he'd wake up all pruny every day.
Hey, you don't want that.
You don't want that.
I feel like Ben Affleck doesn't play a blind man very well.
He's always looking directly at the actors.
He looks annoyed in every shot. Like anytime anyone says anything to him, he's just like,
It's like, yeah, blind people don't move their eyes that much either.
Like, I really like Ben Affleck, but he's atrocious in this. I mean, everyone's
Yeah, he's-
bad, but I think that he's like one of the worst parts.
yeah, I have to agree. Yeah,
And he had a bad year. He went off from this and made Jersey Girl.
God damn. Talk about
Speaking
flipping
of-
double tails there.
Speaking of awesome performances in this movie, Colin Farrell is Bullseye, who is hired by the Kingpin to kill Elektra's dad and then Elektra. And
Yeah, he had him shipped in from Ireland.
yeah, and we get to see him do awesome shit. Like he like a guy at a bar pisses him off, and so he like unfolds paper clips and then like throws them into his neck.
Yeah, just literally kills a guy and walks out of the bar. And then gets
Yeah.
on a plane.
Yeah, he gets on a plane and there's this old woman sitting next to him who won't shut up, and so he pinballs a peanut. He like throws it at the chair and then it bounces off the chair onto her table and then up into her mouth and she chokes on it and dies in like 2 seconds.
I'm not gonna lie, that was
That was
kind of
pretty
funny.
great. Yeah, and he was also listening to nu metal the whole time. You could hear it out of his fucking earbuds.
Yeah, he was
I
listening.
think he was
to the
listening to
soundtrack
Coal
for this movie.
Chamber.
I'm really surprised there was no corn in this.
No corn or Mudvayne. It was kind of weird.
We needed some shine down, you know.
Yeah, Shinedown would have been pretty on the nose for this. So I take it back. Ben Affleck is not the worst part of this movie. Colin Farrell is absolutely the worst part of
Well,
this movie.
They're bad in different ways.
I don't
Like
know. I think
Colin Farrell
Farrell's-
is such
I
a
think he's trying
cheesy
to play
mess.
he's trying to play up the cheesiness of Bullseye.
For
know,
sure.
But it just doesn't
I
fit the
hope
tone
he's-
of the movie because the tone is trying to be like really dark and edgy. And
Yeah, I
then
don't think that's the problem with Colin Farrell though.
I think that he does a bad job at it. I think he's obnoxious and a prick.
That's fair.
And then I'm looking at his filmography here just because I remember asking the question, has he ever like been in good stuff or been good?
I couldn't name anything.
Yeah,
I
have
see
no idea.
Minority Report, which I remember really liking, but I haven't watched it in a while, and I don't even remember what he plays in it. Everything else is like shit I don't bother with.
You didn't like Phone Booth?
I never saw Phone Booth. I also didn't
You don't
see
need to
Winter's
see Phone
Tale. I'm good. Or The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Pass.
Basically, he sucks. He should stop acting.
Yeah,
Are you
every
seeing
time
the
I see him
trend?
in something, he's like a fucking
then
punchline.
he ruined fucking Total Recall, so I'm done. We're cutting it off here.
I can't believe they made Total Recall. That is like such an unremakeable movie. A movie that weird does not deserve to be remade in 2012.
RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop's another one. Point Break is another one. Like, why remake these movies?
At least they remade Daredevil into a good show.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
This-
will
this
agree.
movie
Like,
and
I
the
really
show are
do like the
fucking night
first.
and day.
I love the first season of Daredevil when it came out.
So you should watch season 3.
Well, I got like 2 episodes into season 2, and then I got bored.
I've seen season 1 and 2, and I'm going to purposely not watch season 3 just to piss you off.
No, watch it. It's so good.
Nope.
Season 2 is admittedly pretty weak, but season 3 is like the shit.
I'm going to watch the entirety of Iron Fist and not finish Daredevil.
And you already got me convinced to watch Cowboy Bleep Bloop. I don't need to watch Daredevil.
You will thank me. Dude, I guarantee you will thank me for making you watch Cowboy Bebop, and you'd be like, huh, maybe Harlan knows what the fuck he's talking about when he recommends TV for me, and then you watch Daredevil
Yeah,
season
but not
3.
superhero shit that I've told you a million times I don't like.
Wait,
You will thank me.
wait, Justin doesn't like superhero movies?
No.
Question mark?
Why not?
I thought these movies were boring and stupid since like fucking 2015. I watched Age of Ultron and I was like, you know what? I'm good on these. I don't need any more. I've seen like a million of them. I'm good.
Justin? I'm surprised at you.
I bet.
Yeah, honestly, man, I can't blame you, you know? Much as I love them.
I love
Can't
it.
say I blame you, but
fucking
anywho,
love
no,
it.
yeah, it's really weird. Like take for example X-Men 3, which adapted the Dark Phoenix story from X-Men, which was shit. It was not a good movie. We'll watch it one day. And then just last year, they
Wow.
just
Wow.
last year they remade the same story in an X-Men movie, and they somehow did it shitty again. So I'm really glad that they basically took this same story and remade it for the Netflix show. But it's good, you know. Like if you want to see the same story in live action but good, watch Daredevil.
It's fucking bullshit because
The show.
X-Men is like my favorite superhero group comic ever. And there's like 15 movies and like 3 of them are good.
Yeah,
Fucking hate it.
Justin liked Logan.
I did like Logan. It was
Oh,
alright.
Logan's so goddamn good.
Did you say it was all right, dude? Logan. Fucks.
I'm trying to get past that, Harlan. Let's not bring it up or I'm going to get hurt. I saw
yeah, the
Logan in the
X-Men movies
theater
do suck.
opening weekends. And
I have
was just,
very predictable opinions.
Oh, dude. Can I go on a little tangent and tell a story about the time that I saw Logan?
please do. Because all
saw
I
it-
got is at the
I
back
saw
of.
it at the premiere, and there was this one dude like a couple seats behind me that just would not shut up through the whole movie. Like anytime something would happen, he'd be like, "Oh damn, oh shit, what? Oh damn," and he was just doing that for like 40 fucking minutes. And then finally, I turned around and I was like, "Hey man, can you please be quiet?" And then he shut up until the very end of the movie. Spoilers for Logan. He shut up until the very end of the movie when Laura takes the cross and turns it on its side, and the guy went X, and the credits rolled. What an asshole.
My only story for seeing Logan in theaters was jizzing the whole time.
Oh yeah, that too.
The back of the chair in front of me looked like Carlsbad Caverns when I was done.
I watched it with Harlan and I liked it because it was really fucking violent.
Yeah,
That's fun.
Yeah, I like finally get an X-Men movie. Within 5 minutes, he's stabbing somebody through the face.
Oh yeah,
That was great.
it's great.
Daredevil needs...
Anywho, so back to Daredevil.
Ugh.
Yeah, this piece of work.
I almost had a spark of joy in my heart talking about Logan, and then we're going back to this.
Logan.
The chanting thing doesn't work when we're remote, just saying.
Yeah, it's super off.
Like, I almost wonder, I've kept it in before just because it's funny how terrible it sounds.
No, yeah, it's authentic. We'll leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bullseye's hired to kill Elektra's dad, and it's so confusing because Daredevil like tries to save her dad's life. He fails, and Bullseye kills him with Daredevil's own billy club. And so the police find it. Well, we'll get to that in a second. The police find it and they think that Daredevil killed him. But in the meantime, Elektra blames Daredevil for her dad's death for some reason. I mean, like she saw Daredevil clearly trying to save him. Did I miss something? Why did she think Daredevil killed him?
I think the idea is that she couldn't see Colin Farrell, so it looked like
Why? He was in the
just-
middle of the road. And he threw the billy club past Daredevil, and Daredevil tried to catch it.
There's no
Why does she
fucking
think-
she should have been able to see the entire fucking thing.
I mean, they're literally like in the middle of the street. Like there are street lights and everything.
Yeah,
Like this
the
is New
only
York. It's not like
reason-
it's dark out.
The only reason
I
she
didn't
thought
write
it was
it.
Daredevil was because the Billy Club is what he used to kill him.
Even though she could see the whole fight going down. I don't know. We just needed
Exactly.
conflict.
It's
They just
stupid.
needed to be mad at each other for a while.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then,
but yeah,
did
so-
that translate into her knowing that he was Daredevil, but she didn't know? Because then she was pissed at him too, right? At the funeral?
No, I don't think she was pissed at Matt Murdock.
She wasn't
She was
pissed.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just like, I'm gonna get revenge, and he was like, no, don't do that. That's bad. And she was
No,
like, don't try to talk me.
me.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
They were
Then-
trying to do some really genius big brain reincorporation.
Oh, yeah. Then she walked away in slow-mo while Evanescence was playing.
That's great. And yeah, Daredevil like leaves. He leaves after her dad dies, and she tries to shoot him as he flies away. And he leaves his billy club like stuck in her dad's chest. Why would he do that? Like, and this is a billy club that extends into his walking stick that he uses as a blind man to get around. So it's like very identifying to Matt Murdock.
It looks like a police baton.
Yeah, that's exactly how Joe Pantoliano knew he was fucking Daredevil.
Yeah. Why would he just leave that at the scene of the crime?
I don't know, man. I didn't fucking write it.
Fucking after Elektra's dad's funeral, yeah, the Evanescence songs both play back to back, and that's when we get the awesome "Bring Me to Life" music video where she's like in a really big empty room, and she's got like her knives, her signature Elektra knives, and she's like,
Her size from Napoleon Dynamite.
yeah.
Or Raphael
she's-
size.
She's like slicing sandbags that are dropping from the ceiling. And like
How
they're
did she-
dropping they're dropping one by one. Who is like engineering this?
How did she time that, dude?
Yeah,
and then
like,
she had
who's doing that?
Then she had one that came down like a little like higher than the rest of them, so she could specifically flip kick that one.
If you wanted to reuse them, why did she slice them open? And there's
she
sand all
also-
over the floor. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to vacuum.
She also had one that had like a face drawn on it, so she could like specifically like throw her knife at it from across the room. But like, why did she need to draw a face on it just for that?
Oh, yeah,
She
it was
sucks at
like
drawing.
a little Daredevil, like a basic shape with a frowny face in it.
Like, yeah,
It's
I'll
like a
fucking
Wilson
get
ball.
you for killing my dad.
Yeah. And yeah, the whole time, wake me up. It's
And meanwhile,
hilarious.
all that's happening, Bullseye's fucking pissed because Daredevil made him miss and he never misses.
Yeah.
So that's like his whole revenge thing's like he made me miss. He like
They
won't
never
shut
miss,
the
huh?
he won't shut the fuck up about it.
yeah.
Also, he looks like a Static X guitarist.
He does. Oh, and he's got like the crosshairs, like what is that, carved or branded into his forehead?
Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah, that's their version of Bullseye's costume from the comics. Is they just give him a Bullseye scar on his head.
yeah, the
just looks like a
costume in the
skinhead.
comics. The costume in the
does.
comics looks fucking stupid, and this did not make it any better by branding that onto his head.
Yeah, he looks
Yeah,
like an
well, and-
extra from American History X.
Well, and the same thing with Elektra's costume. Like Elektra's costume is like she's like in like a skimpy ninja outfit that's all red,
And a
in this
bandana.
they just gave her like a crop top and like made it black leather. And I'm like, why did you do Daredevil's costume? But not Elektra's. Like they're like equally corny.
This is
why
like a
did you do one
Charlie's
and not the
Angels
other?
getup.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I guess she
it's-
wasn't out there fighting crime yet. So this means we have to watch the Elektra movie spin-off so we know
Fuck.
the story. You know we have to do that now, right? It's supposed to be even worse than this. I've never seen that one.
God.
Justin's shaking his head no, but he knows what's
Dude,
coming.
it was like the first MCU. It was a spin-off
Yep.
movie.
3-4 months goes by, Justin. Harlan's gonna say it. Elektra. That's what's gonna happen.
We'll leave it up to the wheel.
I say he's gonna spin the wheel, look at it, and be like, "Nah," and then she's Elektra.
What? Wait, no. The wheel
never
has
happened.
integrity.
Yeah, I've never done that. Shut up.
The wheel is not a lie.
I haven't done that like 6 times.
I did it like once. Shut up.
The magic of editing.
So Daredevil shows up and Bullseye tries to kill Elektra. Well, he does kill Elektra, and he like stabs her, through the stomach, and like you see it like pierce, and it like lifts up the back of her shirt. so you can see that it like went like through her chest rather than like her stomach, I guess.
Totally
but then
bloodless
later,
blade.
Yeah. Well, you don't see the blood on the blade because her shirt is not pierced. Like it's lifting her shirt. But then like when he throws on the ground, the stab wound is like suddenly in a completely different place. It's like way lower on her back.
Also, when he's holding her up in the air, the angle doesn't even match.
Yeah.
Like it just looks really bad.
Yeah.
It's like this movie wasn't that good.
Huh.
Oh, and also, right before all that goes down, like they're fighting on a rooftop and somebody's like hanging up their laundry on a clothesline, and Daredevil's like moving the laundry to like see what's behind it. He's like sneaking around, and it's like they forgot he had a radar sense for that scene. Like that's the whole point of his powers, is that he can see around shit. And they just forgot.
They also forgot he was blind, because why would he be moving him anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
To try and see what's behind them.
Yeah, exactly. Made no fucking sense. And then, yeah, Elektra, like, sneaks up on him and surprise attacks him. Like, that's the whole fucking point of his powers, is he can see around that shit. Yeah, so Elektra dies. I don't know, man.
I'm surprised we didn't play My Immortal when she died. I guess she wasn't very immortal, though. So, wouldn't have been right.
Or did she? No, she 100% didn't, because she left
thank God.
she left that necklace for him. You didn't see the necklace she left with Braille on it?
Yeah,
When did she get that made?
I forget what it said, though.
Well, can you look and read Braille?
No, dude. I'm not a Brailleologist.
Oh, and by the way, this movie starts with like a "how did we get here" moment, where you see Daredevil in some really subtle, Catholic imagery and symbolism. He falls from grace.
Yeah, he's clinging to a cross on top of a church and then falls through the roof.
Yeah. And you're like, how did we get here? And then, yeah, he gets his ass kicked by Elektra. She dies. And then Bullseye chases him to the church. And they have a fight there on top of the church organ. And it's so weird because, like, some shots would have you believe that they're, like he, like, knocks Daredevil and Bullseye. They fall off the top of the organ pipes. And I swear to God, it looks like they're falling, like, 200 feet. Like, they fall for so long in some of these shots. And I'm like, this is just a normal church organ. Like, why are you on top of a skyscraper all of a sudden?
Yeah, change of size for sure. It's
Yeah.
like the shittiest, like, not that Spider-Man 3's fight was shitty or not shitty. It's like the same fucking fight. But this is even worse somehow.
And that like Bullseye like figures out that like he can like overload Daredevil's senses if he makes enough noise.
Like, oh, I have discovered something you're afraid of. It's like he's not afraid of it.
He just plays Seether on his phone.
It just hurts.
He's like, taste the pain, Daredevil.
He just puts on non-point and throws his phone down.
There was a Drowning Pool song in this, apparently, featuring Rob Zombie. I can't think of anything more 2003 than that.
Do you still have that list pulled up?
Yes, I do. Okay, so here's the bands that are in
here's
this
the sick
fantastic soundtrack. Fuel, The Calling, Saliva, Seether,
the fuck?
Nickelback, Drowning Pool featuring Rob Zombie, Nappy Roots featuring Marcos Curiel of POD, Moby, Evanescence Twice, Chevelle, Hoobastank, Palo Alto, Revis, Boy Sets Fire, Autopilot Off, Finger 11, 12 Stones.
Fuck.
So, yeah,
That's
this
the
is
most 2000s shit I've ever fucking heard.
Yeah, like it always bugged me that Spider-Man ends with a Nickelback song, but now I'm just thankful that it's only that one song and it's at the credits. It's not in the middle of the fucking movie.
It's not every single time there's music playing.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing original.
You remind me.
They say that a hero can save us. Not gonna stand here and wait.
God.
Is that like their 9/11 parable song? Oh, is that the song about getting roadhead? I forgot. Nickelback's kind of stupid.
The music video is great. It was just them on top of a building and Spider-Man was slinging around. It was really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great.
High art.
Yeah, so they fight in the church. and Bullseye gets shot in the hands by a sniper, and so he's like, got the Jesus wounds on his hands. It's really, really subtle.
So much Christ imagery. It's like, why?
Took my hands. He took my hands.
Have mercy. And then he's like, I'll have mercy. He doesn't say that, but is that when he says justice is served? Or is that later when he fights Kingpin? I don't know.
I think it's when he fights Kingpin that he says justice is served.
Oh, because wait, that
Do you
was
get it? 'Cause he's a lawyer? Huh?
Yeah, I picked that up.
and Bullseye was actually the mini boss.
No, when he gets Bullseye, he just says Bullseye.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh
yeah,
man,
you're
that's.
right.
I wish it was like Pan's Labyrinth and he just like caved his face in with his billy club. That would have been really cool.
Or if he stomped on his neck, that would have been pretty cool.
Anything would have been cool. Related to hyperviolence, obviously.
He does throw Bullseye out the window, the stained glass window of the church, and again, it seems like that church is as tall as a fucking skyscraper. I don't know how he maybe didn't know that would not kill him. I don't know. How many people does he kill in this movie? He kills the guy on the train. I think he tries to kill Bullseye. I guess that's it. That's too much. Though.
Yeah, because his whole arc is that he doesn't kill Kingpin, played by Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
That's still a funny arc for a superhero, is that he realizes he shouldn't kill people.
Well, what makes him realize that he might be a bad guy is that he's literally beating the shit out of this guy in front of his son. And the kid's crying. And it's yeah, maybe you should have fucking waited to do that when he was alone.
Yeah, it's no, I'm not the bad guy. Your dad sucks.
I'm not the bad guy. This is a Harvard bar.
Jesus. Yeah, so then he defeats Bullseye, and then he goes to Fisk's office. And again, he got stabbed in the shoulder by Elektra, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he kind of just shrugs that off. It's because he's blind. That means he's strong.
Well, he doesn't at first. At first he acts like it's the worst wound anyone's ever received.
The rest of the night.
And he's just stabbed in the shoulder. Every action movie you've ever seen, someone gets shot in the shoulder, then they're fine immediately. But Daredevil isn't until he needs to be fine.
I will say this dumb Bullseye fight reminded me so much of Matrix Reloaded. For a movie that came out before Matrix Reloaded. Wait, did this come out before Reloaded or after?
This was a year after.
Oh, great. So I had time to copy the notes. They saw Matrix Reloaded come out and they're like, oh fuck, we need a really bad CGI fight scene where they're just moon jumping all over this building.
Yeah, the same really terrible CGI fight during Burly Brawl where he does the kick. That same exact move Daredevil does, but it somehow looks even worse.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of things that look worse than Matrix Reloaded, and I think this takes the cake.
Yeah, so he fights Kingpin, and he's getting his ass kicked because he can't see for some reason, until it starts raining in his office for some reason.
That's
Why was
because
it raining?
He burst there's these giant water tanks, and he bursts those, and then as the sprinklers come on in the building, and so it lights Michael Clark Duncan up like a Christmas tree. But again, that doesn't mean anything. It just means that he can see normally instead of seeing sporadically like he does, which I don't see how that makes him a better fighter with just a one-on-one when he's not trying to observe his surroundings. It's stupid.
Well, again, he doesn't see sporadically. He sees in 360, and it's not supposed to make him a better fighter. But I mean, I guess the idea in the movie is that he just couldn't see very well for some reason in that moment. And this is what I'm talking about when I mentioned earlier that they somehow nerfed Daredevil because for some reason at the climax of the movie he can only see well when it's raining and it lights up his opponent. It doesn't really make any sense. I don't know why they felt the need to do that.
He did have a sick move though at the end there. When he slides under his legs and then just knocks both of his knees out.
I couldn't help but feel
that looks so fucking painful.
Well, it's the sprinklers are on and Daredevil's wearing a leather suit, so it felt like he was on a slip and slide the way he just went under his legs.
I just imagine the actual fight. He just sounds like a squeegee the whole time.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and then he decides not to kill the Kingpin because he's not the bad guy. And then I think that's it. Oh, but then we get a mid-credits teaser where Bullseye is like in a full body cast, but he like kills a fly with a syringe.
Yeah, he throws a syringe like a dart into a fly.
It sticks on the wall, and he's like, Bullseye.
And Colin fucking Farrell, man, is a legend.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to give him some kind of credit for that, because at least they weren't trying to set up a sequel with an after-credit scene. It was just like a funny throwaway thing.
I think they were trying to set up a sequel with that.
How? That he
they
survived?
showed that he was still like capable of doing his thing.
I suppose.
Maybe it was like a half-hearted sequel teaser where it's like, oh, well, if this does well, we could do a sequel. And if it's not, it's just a wacky scene.
Yeah, it's ambiguous enough that they could be like, no, we weren't doing a sequel.
No, we're just playing dumbass the whole time.
Exactly. It's not like an MCU
I was being
movie
stupid
where
on purpose.
yeah, it's not like an MCU movie where just literally Thanos is there all of a sudden.
For sure, it was bad. Ironically, you wouldn't get it.
So what would you guys rate it?
3.
Ooh.
It's not the worst thing we've watched, but it's far from the best. I think three or 4 area is pretty fair. I'll probably go
what
with
did
a
I
3.
rate Spider-Man 3? I don't remember. I think I gave it a 4.
8.
Yeah, I'll stick with 3.
I don't think it's bad enough to be a 2.
Yeah.
Like, it's watchable. It's just stupid.
Yeah. I guess I'll say 3 too. That feels a little too harsh, but it's definitely not a 4. So
It's not boring, really. There's enough stupid shit to string it along that you can make fun of.
yeah.
So,
I burst
that
out
3's
laughing a couple times.
Yeah,
More at
there's
the
some
movie's
really funny
expense, but yeah.
All things considered.
Well, what's a good thing about it? For me, it was Michael Clark Duncan just existing in it. 'Cause I miss him.
He was really fucking cool in it, though. Like, every time he said something, you're like, ugh.
I wonder if that's just because his voice was cool.
Well, cool voice, you have
Yeah,
to
I mean,
you have to be able to
that's
use
what I mean.
it
It's just
too.
his presence enough.
I mean,
his
yeah,
presence
he's
enough
a
to
very-
elevate the movie because everyone else in there is kind of eh.
Well, yeah, he's a very physical actor in this because I mean that's like why he was cast is because he's like such a big imposing dude. Even though they'd had to put him on stilts or lifts for some scenes in this movie. Yeah, like it's completely just being a fucking an absolute unit, if you will.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Yeah, that
so
combined
he
with
did
his
that well.
voice, great villain, good Kingpin.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a cop out. Kevin Smith cameo was cool. Just seeing Kevin Smith in this was pretty dope.
Fuck, it's my turn already.
We didn't give him enough time to think. He's gonna put his
Dude,
thinking cap on.
Arlen, it's okay. Hang On by Seether was playing, so.
Yeah, and that's not good. I mean, again, like any of these songs by themselves wouldn't hurt the movie, but it's that there's like 12 butt rock songs in this whole movie.
Stop stalling, Harlan. What's your good thing?
I don't know, man. Fuck.
Good thing, good thing, good thing, good thing, good thing.
I think, fuck it, I'll say it. I think as stupid as he was, I think Colin Farrell, chewed up the corniness, and it was fun.
If that's what he was going
fun,
for, he
is what I'll
achieved
say.
it.
Colin Farrell was fun as Bullseye.
Like, the way he acted as Bullseye definitely warranted the comic book costume,
Yeah, totally.
as opposed to this edgelord persona he had.
Yeah. Fuck. Trivia?
Yeah, what's our trivia?
Trivia.
Okay. So this one I thought was interesting just because it opposes one we had for Fan Stick a while back. As a fan of the character, apparently Daredevil is his favorite Marvel superhero. Ben Affleck made a point of reading every single comic book that featured Daredevil as preparation for his role, which, I mean, by 2003, that's an insane amount of comic books. And
Yeah,
I just
dude.
kind of feel bad for the guy that, it's hard to know, like, who to blame, for this movie. I'm not going to point any fingers. But obviously, he likes the character, and I'm sure he didn't want it to be this bad.
Probably not. I mean, that sucks knowing that his heart was in it.
It sucks knowing he cared.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And then it turned
He
out
tried.
this bad.
On that note, although Ben Affleck is a fan of the character, acting him out was such an unpleasant experience that, in November 2006, Affleck stated that he would never reprise the role, having felt, quote, "By playing a superhero in Daredevil, I have inoculated myself from ever playing another superhero. Wearing a costume was a source of humiliation for me and something I wouldn't want to do again soon," end quote.
Well,
Yeah, obviously
good thing he didn't do it soon.
Yeah, he'd end up playing Batman again, but
Which was
yeah,
worse.
Yeah, it was that bad.
Talk about sidestepping a pothole to fall off a bridge.
I think he was better as Batman than Daredevil. That's
He was
for sure.
fucking horrible as Batman.
He was better
think-
than Daredevil.
Yeah,
No,
well,
he
I mean,
wasn't.
I'll preface this saying I've only seen Batman versus Superman. I think he's better as Batman, but that's not to say that BVS is a better movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
He's fucking horrible.
yes, it is.
But it's not. He didn't
Yes,
do
it
anything
is.
to elevate it. Maybe he
that's
just
true.
wasn't the worst part because the worst part was all of it.
That's true.
I'm not saying he was fantastic. I'm just saying he was better.
It was fan
Yeah.
four stick.
I'm
Agreed.
saying, like, as a 0.1 from Daredevil, he's a 0.2 as Batman.
Getting Daredevil's costume right was one of the hardest aspects of production and took approximately 7 to 8 months, which I'm calling fucking bullshit on that. Like, what were they doing working on that? Because his costume looks like shit.
It just looks like a biker outfit.
It's so tight. Like, it looks so tight on his head. It looks so uncomfortable.
I honestly don't know what they really could have done because, like, the comic book costume is just literally just one spandex unit, you know, like Spider-Man. I mean, what can you really do?
I mean, they could have fucking, I don't know. It just looks too weirdly tight to me. Like, it's especially the face that looks weird to me.
Yeah,
You know,
it
like
should have
how
been leather.
How it lays across his cheekbones. It just looks really weird to me.
You're smuggling grapes down there.
But yeah, I it should have at least been fully black, I think, because did it need to be red? He's fucking blind. He's trying to sneak around the dark. Who gives a shit if it's red or not? Like, if they were trying to go for that kind of thing, they could have at least just made it black. I feel like as it is, if it was black, that would have made it even better, probably. Not much
Even
better.
So you
Well,
think it's good?
no, it's poor choice of words. That would have made it better.
likes Daredevil.
No, I don't. I did not own this on DVD when I was 13. I did.
Even better, you own it now.
No.
You own it in your 30s.
Matt and Elektra's playground fight took 4 days to shoot, and this was what they came up with. 4 days they worked on that.
I imagine most of the days are just moving the fucking wire work around.
Right?
Right?
Like,
Getting
Jesus
in position for the
Christ.
seesaws to bounce them.
Stupid
That one
shit.
scene had more fucking wire work than Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Last one. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Matt Murdock, Ben Affleck's hair was like dyed kind of like brownish reddish.
Yeah.
For the role. Ben Affleck hated the hair color required for the role. He said it was so damaging to his self-esteem that he would avoid looking in the mirror.
Grow the
So,
fuck
like-
up, dude. You're an actor.
It's like what happened. Like his heart was like super invested in the Daredevil, and then the producers like made him do it the specific way, so he just like lost all care for it. I guess is what
Yeah,
happened.
I feel bad for him.
Jesus
But
Christ,
okay,
dude.
please, I don't care about these crocodile tears of damage my self-esteem. You're a fucking actor, dude. You make millions. You're
Yeah,
fine.
No, yeah.
Not yet.
And then he went on to make Jersey Girl and be Batman. It's not like he has a amazing batting average here.
I mean, this was 2003. I think the only thing good he did up until that point was Good Will Hunting, right?
He was in Mallrats, but he's just kind of barely in it.
He was a background character, more or less.
He was in the
was a
director's cut of
plot device.
Daredevil.
I would hope so.
And then he became a real actor after this. So.
Yep.
Apparently, the director's cut is considerably better. Like, it's not, anything great, but apparently it's considerably better.
I didn't
but
even know it existed.
I chose to do the regular version, A, because it was on Amazon Prime and easy to watch. B, because, like, I feel like, A, we want to talk about shit, and C, like the theatrical one is what counts, you know, especially if you know, if you haven't seen it at all, you need to watch the theatrical one.
Yeah, I agree. Like I didn't know that existed before today though. Like I wouldn't mind giving it a shot. Like
Apparently it's rated R. And
Director's cut?
I don't know.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'm good.
We'll have to give it a shot when we're ready in like a year or two.
I won't.
After recovering from watching this. Harlan, you know what? You and I will hang out, we'll watch it, we'll have a grand old time without him.
Enjoy.
Yeah, it'll actually be better than Logan. And Justin will be sad that he missed it.
You know what makes me sad? There will never be another X-Men movie that's even close to as good as Logan. They set the bar way too high with that one.
Justin, no, come back. Okay, so Wes, next week we're watching Suicide Squad.
No, but now I have a feeling of another movie that's on your fucking wheel. But so next week we're going to bring her back to the 80s, get in the Christmas spirit, and we're going to watch 1984's Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yay!
I can tell both of you have definitely heard of this before.
Nope,
and
never once heard
100% knew it existed before I just mentioned it.
Boomer.
Yes, sir.
No.
That is true. Okay. Thanks for listening to B-Roll Boys. Justice has been served. Courts adjourned. And other such lawyer phrases.
The law.
The law.
I never broke the law. I am the law.
You're trash, bro.
Yeah.
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Hold on. You dig on multiverses?
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Cover my eyes! Ah! That's it. What, we some kind of
B-Roll Boys.